Hello, everybody. Hi-rez Kelly here, and I'm joined by Driver at the expert desk. Let's talk a little bit about why do you think Dignitas took it over Cognitive Red in that one game?
Now, we saw a lot of why Dignitas works there, and they held like a 5,000 gold lead for a very long time. But I think the biggest thing that Dignitas did right is they shut down the Boosh and they shut down the Gars. The Gars started that match and started falling behind from the very get-go and could not get his core items done. I think that was the biggest thing that they ran into.
Now, before we get into game two, we're going to look at who wore it best. Solo lane is going to be Ra and Vamana. Let's take a look at that graphic right now, Dry Bear.
Let's bring it on up. Solo lane has been a kind of a staple for all these teams, especially Cognitive in general, but Ra has been so successful today. Look at the games played. Of course, not much played by Divios at all, but totally loves his Ra. 7 games, 71% win, but a very low kill-death ratio. But Ra's secret sauce is not really the kill-death ratio. It's the healing, it's the support, and it's the amount of Smite damage you can do. We saw one match where it's 3-0 and 11. 3 of those kills were all snipes. It's all about the long distance kills.
You know, I was talking a little bit about earlier that when you think about Anatoly, you think about his raw play. It's really good. Do you feel that the KDA there compared to Kiki the Chunk, which again, an amazing solo laner and great with Raw, which you see right there, almost matching completely with Anatoly besides the KDA. Do you think Kiki the Chunk carries his team more as a solo laner and maybe Anatoly is a little bit less compared to the rest of his teammates?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for Anatoly is that his secret sauce is pushing the solo tower, getting it down, joining the fights. He's not a big killer. He's not about getting the damage out. He's about supporting his team in the right ways. He's very utilitarian in that aspect. And so what he does is he brings the heals, he brings the control, and gets that tower down quickly. And he's very efficient about pushing when the solo laner leaves.
So let's look at Vamana here, and whenever I think about Vamana, I mean, Vamana makes plays, man. Obviously, we saw God Hunter in the launch tournament, but here we're going to be looking at North America, and you can see Anatoly right there with an 88% win rate, highest games and highest KDA. I mean, we just said when I think about Anatoly, I think about Rob, but now I might be thinking about Vamana.
We've seen a lot of Vamana today. Of course, the Megatron playing a ton of that himself, 83% win. Anatoly loves his Vamana. I think that's why I don't really like Anatoly on Raw as much, because he's definitely a very strong bruiser player. And Vamana fits that so perfectly. You can see he's got 8 games, 88% win with 4.62 kill-death ratio. And if Vamana fits Anatoly through and through. And the biggest thing about Vamana is that once you get enough farm, you come out mid-game, you get your core 4 items. Once that Haste Fatalis is done, not only have you conquered the solo lane, you now can start killing people.
Why do you think we see Kiki the Chunk right here has 0 games with Vamana? Do you think he's more of a mage solo player? Or do you
Absolutely.
Think is that what it is?
Well, Kiki plays a lot of different characters. He's had overall 13 different unique gods in the history of the Smite World Championship qualifiers. But the biggest thing for him is he goes between mages and bruisers a lot. He loves his Chalk. He loves his Zhong Kui. Vamana's not really on his radar, and Vamana's a very specific character in the way you play. You play very passive. You get the tower down. You get your core built up. You start looking for those kills, and that's the biggest thing you got to look for.
Well, maybe we're going to see a Ra and Vamana play here in game number 2, everybody. Dignitas is up 1 game against Cognitive Red. Let's join the casters right now with Bart and DM.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and welcome back, everybody, to the stage floor and the commentary desk. My name is hi-rez Bart, and his name is DM, and we will be your commentary team moving into game number 2, where Dignitas has a 1-game advantage over Cognitive Red.
That's right. I mean, Shadow Q made a huge play off of possible misplays coming out from 3 of the members of Cog Red, stole Gold Fury. Best finds a few good snipes, and Lassus finds not only a split push Phoenix trade, but then a great counter initiate to close that game out.
But this time, when we move back into the game, it will be Dignitas forced into the first pick spot, as Cognitive Red did lose the first game.
Right.
First ban's coming out as well. DM on the side of Team Dignitas. It looks like they will be removing Osiris from the pool.
I can't believe it.
What a shocker.
I can't believe it. Though I kind of can't believe that they would do that as a first pick. I mean, they have the opportunity. Lassus, I guess, just doesn't want to play it. Guards once again targeted as Thor gets taken off the table as well.
Yeah, and it seems like a smart ban. And once again, Apollo taken off the table for Zapman. They really don't want to deal with him splitting up the map, but they could very well be giving away Rom to him.
That's possible, but we've seen the Mercury come out. We've seen the Mercury ADC today.
Oh, right.
It's done very, very well.
What's AD?
Well, Bart.
Apple dancing? Zhong
Mercury
Kui
the Apple Dancer.
The final ban for Cognitive Red. Dignitas looking at their first pick.
Can we get a spam in the chat for Apple Dancer Mercury skin?
No big surprise. It is going to be Rom picked up.
Yeah, I mean, this is the obvious call. A ton of damage, great presence with Astral Barrage, great wave clear.
Yep.
Doesn't really need the blue buff. I mean, super strong.
So waiting for the next 2 picks from Cognitive. If history is serving us right, it's going to be Ra and Athena. This is what Dignitas would go for. Certainly, we'll see what they do.
well, Ra already hovered on here. You can see it on the screen. I mean, I would go Athena here. She has been doing amazing.
Yeah, doing great.
I mean, she's lost, what, 1 game?
But here's the danger. You go Ra, you go Athena. They pick Geb and Loki.
That's true, but last time we saw Dignitas take Loki off the table. Oh, I like this.
Okay, they're going to pick Mercury.
This has a lot of potential for their team, especially. Snoopy can do it in ADC.
Sure.
We have seen major potential in the jungle from every one of our junglers.
And we know Apple Dancing Mercury is very strong. So, yeah, no, they're going to take Athena and Loki. Yeah, so Loki going to go the way of last. It's no big surprise. He'll take Athena over the Geb, just considered the stronger pick. And as you mentioned, ShadowQ with a 100% win rate on Athena and competitive.
Plus, they have the Athena-Loki ultimate combo, which is super scary.
Yes, yes. Maybe one of the most frustrating combos to play against in the game.
It's like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. Oh, I'm at 10% health, and now I'm dead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm stunned, and then I take all the damage, and then I'm stunned and taunted and taking more damage.
Oh, and a raw snipe over the wall that would have hit me if I wasn't already dead.
I haven't seen one of those in a while. That's a Scylla ban.
Good. Ban the Scylla out. Don't let Best do that again. I mean, really, I mean, they won against Smite because Best had one of the strongest plays, if not the strongest play of the tournament.
Yep. Nemesis ban coming out on the other side from Team Dignitas.
For the
giving it away.
love of God.
And Janus will be making his first appearance here in the North American tournament as the 7th pick in the draft. Was first ban at the beginning of the day, but he will be available and in the mid lane for ostensibly for the Boosh. No, they're not going to. Don't even. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing this game with you, lasses.
well, there's, wait. All right. Okay.
Okay, there we go. That's the game I'm willing to play.
Yeah. Not that game. Not that game. We're looking at a different screen.
It's going to be a locked-in Vamana.
That's the
I'm
game we're looking
for you all. It's Vamana. And Ao Kwang as well, going to be locked in there for the rest of Team Dignitas. They have it. Just ridiculously powerful lineup. They have the Vamana-Athena combination, just keeping him alive forever in big baby form in the late game. They have Loki to pair with the Athena in the mid and early stage of the game. They have Ao Kwang-Athena combination as well as the Rama hard carry. But the bots.
That bots is going into the jungle, which means that Mercury is going into duo.
That's right.
Again.
Yeah, will be the hunter role Mercury. Will be dancing with his apples, and we'll see what he's going to be
He's
able
an
to
assassin.
Do.
He's not a hunter.
Well, the hunter role. He'll be.
No, he's going to duo lane.
Oh, dual lane assassin.
Dual lane assassin.
I see what you're saying.
All right.
Yes, he will be part of the dual lane as an assassin.
Dancing them apples.
Dancing with his apples and maybe juggling them too as well. But looking at the teams here overall, I mean, it's pretty obvious what you have. You have a team that's very much reliant on the Athena initiation to set up anything they want,
right.
Or at least Athena being on the back and being part of these kills. So expect ShadowQ to have upwards of 20 assists in this game. On the other side, Cog Red is pretty much all in on team fights, with the hope that they can 4v5 long enough that Mercury goes hyper carry.
To the same point that we have seen Ionic be the shield god this weekend.
Sure.
How many times have we seen Ionic save someone with a Geb shield? I mean, it has to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 times.
17. The answer was 17. You got close, though.
Well, thanks, Bart.
I'll start filming those vines. Like, how many times did Ionic save somebody with a shield? What's the number? And then judge people. Welcome to the map, ladies and gentlemen. It is game number 2, and it's Dignitas versus Cognitive Gaming Red. Let's go ahead and introduce your teams. Fighting out of the blue side of the mini-map, the left side of your spectator UI, and wearing those blue trunks, it is Team Dignitas up 1-0 over Cog Red. Their team is Zapman and ShadowQ combining for the Rom and Athena duo lane. The best will be your mid laner as Ao Kwang. Anatoly holding down the solo lane as Vamana, and finally the Captain Lassus in the jungle on his signature Loki. Their opponents today, once again, Cognitive Red down 1-0 and wearing the red trunks. Oh, this could be a 5-man.
Ooh, I thought he was going to go for the special delivery and possibly get taunted. Snoopy, very calm.
Continuing right along, Cognitive Red, they are the Boosh in the mid lane as Ra. Snoopy and Ionic will be combining for the dual lane Mercury ? And Geb. Divios will be your solo lane Janus, not something we see very often. And the guards out of the jungle as Hunbots.
So nothing really out of the ordinary. We're seeing the Watcher's Gift, Hand of the Gods combos come out. Anatoly decides into Death Toll, hands 2 as we've seen before.
Nothing out of the ordinary, DM?
Well, I mean,
solo lane Janus and dual lane Mercury?
I mean, no, I mean, Giannis is fine.
Standard?
Giannis should be in every game.
For solo?
For anywhere. You put him in the jungle.
Does that work?
Not really.
No, it doesn't work.
That's not good.
You liar.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
You
No,
lied
but
to these people.
except for the Mercury. I mean, we saw the throwing dagger work very well in the first set of the day.
Sure.
This is where Cog Red found their feet. I mean, they didn't do very well in Game 1 against Cog. They had an early start that was pretty strong, and then they kind of got dominated. Game 2, once Snoopy came online, man, that was just too much.
Well, you know, we'll see.
Yes.
You know, it's like I said, it's that 4 protect kind of 1 style here that we're seeing with Mercury.
I love that so much, where Ionic starts in the back corner, it gets pulled by the mage, and then he dashes through it with the rollout to make his way to blue buff as fast as possible. It's so cute.
That was really cute.
A little bit of min-max. He's been doing it all day, and it just tickles me greatly.
Yeah, it's a nice play. I like the rolling the boulder up into max damage and then rolling in and hitting the enemy camp and hogging it right away.
Oh, of course.
I like that one too. That's a classic.
Invade every game. Very important.
That's the old P-bet.
Right side, it looks like we're going to get some pressure here. Lots of damage come through. Anatoly already low mono and taking about a third of his health there. You're going to see Lassus immediately rotate out. Not sure what he's going to look for. Maybe a counter initiation here, or possibly, I think he's going to go in.
So talk to me a little bit here about the Vamana versus Giannis matchup.
Basically, Giannis clears the wave and then runs away really fast.
Okay.
Or he dies.
Makes sense. Class is going to put out a bit of damage here, coming from the backside with that backstab to clear the minion wave. Going to fall through the portal, however, and going to eat an unstable vortex as well.
You got to watch your step. It's very important. You gotta
look at your feet. Figure out where you need to be. Oh, look at this. Shadow Q is going to wrap around. He's actually going to go to the back lines and steal this XP camp away with that Hand of the Gods respawn. I'm sorry, reproc for himself coming off cooldown. So just once again, the small plays that make him such a strong support player.
Lassus once again trying to go in here. He's going to find a decoy. That might have alerted them to the presence. I think he should have just went in there raw.
Yeah, you know, and he wasn't able to disengage while the decoy is still up, so it takes a few minion shots for his trouble, and now has to retreat to the jungle and look, you know, to go a little bit more defensively to pick up his camp. He's going to try to secure some XP. I think he maybe missed just a bit there with Best, but they will both hit level 4.
Overall, though, Dig still has an advantage. They have found 400 gold, where Cognitive Red is starting to fall behind. Boosh not really having too much trouble in lane clearing, but at the same time, they have not been good about camp farming.
Yeah, they haven't. They haven't really been on top of it. A little bit sloppy start, as you mentioned, but it was, you know, pretty back and forth as well. Lassus also picking up the red buff here, which is a little bit awkward. Best's going to rotate in. I guess to try to split the experience as well, but he won't be able to make much use out of this orange buff, and Lassus will have to wait around a couple of seconds here to pick this up.
I don't like Ionic using that shockwave there. Snoopy could have just walked up and got 3 hits there to give them both maximum gold. It was a little bit of a waste of gold, not really min-maxing the way they should be at this level, but at the same time, they're not having too much pressure. The issue is that Lassus is level 5.
Left side. Here he is rotating in. It looks like they're going to tee off on Ionic first. Damage coming out. There's the ultimate on Ionic as well. He's going to go for the knock-up. It's just not going to be enough. He's not going to level 5 either. No minions here. First blood, Dignitas on the back of Zapman.
I'm really surprised to see with all the grouping that Snoopy just didn't try to throw someone into the tower. At the same time, Zapman has been able to free farm. The blue buffs finally go away, and Shadow Q, even though he didn't get the blue buff off the Rama, is still sitting about half mana.
It's pretty dangerous to, you know, when you're talking about saying he should have just thrown someone in the tower. That means he has a 1.5 second channel where he's rooted, and then you have Zapman there that can just proc chain slows on you as you try to retreat back and you use your only escape.
But if they're going to switch over, they're going to lose all the damage they focused on Ionic. They might have split the kill down the middle and not gotten anyone.
That's true. Definitely would have, I mean, it would have been a very difficult play. Best showing that he is not afraid to use that ultimate to do basically anything. Lassus is here, though. I'm not sure they know that. Guard's in a lot of trouble. Fear no evil already used. Lassus forced to disengage.
Oh,
they're going to continue in. Best didn't watch the step, as you mentioned, but now the Rommel coming through, not doing too much damage there. And actually, Dignitas coming out behind on that fight, losing Loki, but not before he picks up first blood. In the meantime, however, that Giannis rotation is costing them, totally finding a lot of tower damage.
Not to mention tower damage. Creeps are dying by the dropes here. 3 already gone. Anatoly's going to have an opportunity to not only get a lot, he's going to just clear this wave for free and have a free back if he decides to take it.
Ionic rotating all the way over here. As you mentioned, Giannis having to go back. Hunbot's in no position and no ultimate, so they can't put any pressure out onto him in terms of gank potential. So Anatoly really just farming with impunity right now.
I think what it comes down to is Devios used the unstable vortex before the portal. Had he switched it up and gone for the guaranteed 2-hit combo, he would have had enough damage to kill Best, but his rotation did not pay off. He did not get gold. He did not get experience from that kill. Got a small amount of push in the mid lane, but honestly, it just didn't pay off.
So, here we go. DM, I mean, it's looking like, once again, Dignitas taking that early game advantage. 800 gold, 800 experience, edging up towards 1,000 as they secure the mid camps. Once they pick up this right side mid camp, going to be over 1,000 gold. And look where Cognitive Red is 3-man farming their jungle. You think Dignitas has put an impact in their head after that last game?
I don't know. I mean, from what we saw this morning, they don't get shaken up. They were behind.
Fair enough.
and they still managed to come back in game 2 with the Mercury.
Lasses,
I think this
did he steal it? Oh, I think he stole it. He stole the blue.
He did manage to get it, yeah. They're going to turn on him, though. Didn't watch his step again. Unstable Vortex. How much health does he possibly have at this point? Spirit Gun going to take him in the back. Anatoly just trying to get away at this point. Low health, should have an opportunity.
But Dignitas is going to be able to go through this portal if he chooses to. No, they don't want to have the cooldowns available.
I mean, this is smart.
Fun stuff.
Just
Mid lane,
push
though.
the
Mid lane, though. Best in a lot of trouble. Going to go down to the bush. The detonation of the Searing Pain and Cognitive Red up 3-1 now. This looks a lot like the first game they played today.
Zatman's going to chase down Snoopy. Snoopy actually going to turn around. I really thought he was going to fight.
I don't think he can. He's going to channel the ultimate, though. He does have the level advantage over Zatman. Going to continue poking him down. This could be an opportunity to fight, though.
Wait, why did he wait for the creeps, though? He has a major advantage in the boxing match right now with maximum velocity, but at the same time, Zatman can bait him very well since that roll is going to be back up in just a second. I think, I
think Snoopy just doesn't want to overcommit.
What that was to me was Zatman had that aura again. Just the, I know I'm the best player in the world. I don't have to deal with your crap. I'm going to roll at you and put myself in a bad advantage because I think I can beat you. And I think that got in Snoopy's head.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of mind games.
That's strength, man.
Divios in some trouble over here on the right side. Anatoly should have another Armor and Umbrella. No, going to elect to not fight into those Archer. Smart stuff. As Divios' lane clear is so good that, he could have easily turned that around on himself, but he will force a lot of lane control away from Divios now.
And Anatoly really can't do much to stop it. He's going to go back here. He might lose a little bit of experience. In fact, if he's not quick enough, he actually might even lose his tower. But at the same time, he does have the ability to rotate pretty soon. That ultimate should be coming back up.
Check out the itemization on Best. Early Divine Ruin.
Oh, whoa. Out of nowhere, we got some push. Shadowq in a lot of trouble. Will he walk into the dragon? Just barely misses. Zatman trying to get some damage. Eonix on his last legs here as Lassus gets turned on a 1-for-1 trading support for jungle. Not quite worth just yet.
Oh, I'm not sure about this leap in from Gars as well. Zatman needs 2 more auto attacks to get it. There it is. The Ross line coming through. Can Boost secure the kill on a Zatman, though, is the question. No. Dodge just sidestep casually there. Best continuing to play up. Anatoly is pushing that tower away from, or that wave away from his tower so they don't lose too much experience. Zatman just so low. Really surprised he's staying in this lane.
Here comes the rotation. Divios is in there, gets some damage, but Boost just took way too much there. They didn't quite find the Janus rotation that they needed. He aimed it in an awkward spot, thinking they were going to go down and not up, then portals over the wall, wasting his only CC, and they didn't quite get it. 4-4, though. Dignitas still up by 800 gold.
Yeah, the experience has leveled out now, only 400 experience up, and that's almost never do you see that happen, where the experience will actually lead will drop without major team fights happening. Let's take a look, however, at the solo laners here. Anatoly and Divios both factoring in this game already pretty heavily, and Divios' Giannis, I mean, we haven't seen this at all today, or really very much at all in competitive play, but it's been very successful. Throwing out the win-loss rate, and just looking at the KDA between these two players, you can see that Divios is a much more aggressive player when it comes to getting kills, but GPM dead even.
Right, team actually loses a little bit more. You see Dignitas 82% win rate, but it looks like Divios, like you said, has a much stronger presence in team fights.
So, left side lanes, a little bit unbalanced in favor of Cognitive Red at the moment, but Dignitas is here. Last is hiding just off the Gold Fury, no ward spotting him out. Cog Red needs to be careful not to overextend. I mean, definitely baiting out here is Dignitas in this 2v3, but they sniffed at something as up as Best rotates out of mid.
Oh my god, Anatoly takes a huge unstable vortex to the back, putting him very low. If he doesn't watch his step there, it's going to be a kill on either side.
Dashing in, the umbrella hits, but now forced to respect the portal and the unstable vortex.
Mana. Didn't watch his step. Goodbye.
Man. Down he goes. Anatoly is probably cursing. But the Lassus rotation is good and there. But let's check back in with the left side lane where Zatman is currently 1v4 as the Athena's already dead, taken to the skies, waiting for Best. Best has to drop the Tornado down to help him try to make his way out. And what can you do? Zatman, he dodges the Searing Pain. Oh, there's Spirit Tempest. It's going to do some nice damage to Snoopy. Snoopy's going to go down to Best. They convert a kill off of this 1v4 situation. Smart stuff for Best to go ahead and fall back. I like that play.
In my opinion, that's a win for Dignitas. Sure, it was a 1-for-1.
Right side lane taking a tier 1.
But what is it? Why are they letting Lassus just run around the map? I mean, he picked off Divios, which was gorgeous. It should have been a 2-for-0 overall. I think Best really turned that around.
How did it even get that far over on the enemy side of the map? But he is here. They're going to try to chase down this Ra, but always a tough task to bring down the Chicken. Just so speedy with that passive, but they will kill out the first tower of the game in the tier 1 in the the solo lane on the back of that kill and leaving Lassus alone. And that's just bad news. I mean, he's just getting a lot of Heartseeker stacks on the back of that empty lane.
I don't know how many players wouldn't have used Shockwave right there, but oh, Devios with a great play finds himself another kill onto Lassus, and Lassus still level 9, actually second lowest in the game right now, only behind Ionic. He's actually fallen behind ShadowQ at this point, though he does have a bit more gold. We're still looking at a very small advantage for Dignitas. It feels like every time they get something, they drop something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small advantage. I mean, they're winning the map control game. They will lose their mid tower pretty soon. Then, as we mentioned in the last game, Ao Kwong very reliant on that tower to make sure that he can stay safe. So don't expect too much rotation from Best in the next few minutes, because he definitely doesn't want that tower going down before maybe the 15-minute mark, or at least they would want to drop that tower in exchange for Gold Fury at the very least.
Well, the tower down on the right side ensures that they maintain their lead. They'd only be about 200 gold ahead, but the experience at this point is dead even. I mean, for all intents and purposes, so is the gold. I mean, you're not going to do much with 800 gold.
Gars may have an angle here on the Best. Best just not spotting out. Overhead smash coming out. A lot of commitment into the mid lane here as Gars, Ionic, and Boosh are here. Now shading over to the left side is Cog Red, and they really want to find a pick here onto Best, it looks like, and take down this tower.
Dude, I'm so impressed with Snoopy being able to just straight up box with Rama. And to the same point, I'm very impressed with Zatman having the same kind of pressure, but Lassus again finds a kill onto Devios. Zap's in trouble, actually does manage to get up. Athena will be able to rotate. Oh, and the shots onto Snoopy. He's forced out.
A lot of damage out. Yeah, that's exactly right. Guard's going to try to stay in here, but you won't have the pressure to actually kind of kill. You may get killed in return, however. I think he's clever port back, but Zatman dashing back in, doesn't find the pin. Then to be careful as Dignitas. Zatman may have bait himself into this fight. Knock up. Best has nice positioning, though. There's the snipe, is going to miss. Lassus rotating around, no ultimate available. Maybe he'll find a kill.
Best finds a squall, gonna get the slow, gonna force the shield out as well. Look at all the damage coming through. Still no Spirit's Tempest just yet. Cataclysm gonna be good, and bang! Best finds a huge dragon to take the support down, which might pressure the Gold Fury.
It says, yeah, Snoopy also getting pushed back now by Anatoly, and there's a four-man push on the left side here. Athena ultimate not available, but should be up relatively shortly. No, I'm sorry, no cooldown boost, so they still probably got 30-40 seconds on that. Dignitas gonna fall back, not looking to continue aggression.
Yeah, they're gonna go for it. They have to be very careful here, because if there's any character you don't want jumping in who doesn't have hand 3, it's gonna be Devios' Janus. Do they have it? Yes, they get the Gold Fury, and a very awkward, unstable Vortex will not even apply the damage. Best low mana. We're going to see a jump in from Gars. He's getting some shots off the Zatman.
So
I don't think this is a good look.
It's not worth it. I mean, they will clean up Zatman in the backline. No, Guard's going to make it out. Total worth. Down goes Best as well. A double kill on the back of that for Cognitive Red.
Very unfortunate portal placed on the wall instead of the floor. Boosh still trying to continue forward. I don't know if he has enough damage. Through time and space will not do the damage he's looking for, but they will take the mid tower. They have to answer back. If they get a tier 2 here, this will be worth.
Yeah, they're going to definitely go for it. Lassus recalling over here near the mid camp. They actually see that, so they know no one else coming in. Anatoly taking a lot of damage. Dashing through now is Snoopy out of the backlines as well. Looks like Dignitas will hold their tier 2, but they're going to lose about 50% of the HP for now, and another creep wave coming in.
Oh, Anatoly's very low. They could reinitiate if they want, but smartly, they will back off as both Lassus and Zatman are coming over at full health, and that's not something you want to mess with.
I think it's very interesting, the interaction between kind of Loki and Giannis in the solo lane, right? Giannis is this kind of god that is always just barely edging you out. Like, you're fighting him, he's fighting you, you get low, he's low, but he has burstier than you are. So he always wants to stick around and get that one last unstable vortex out. But Loki really the master of making sure that that style of play gets punished. Similar to the Agni in terms of where Devios wants to line up in the team fights and how he wants to do it. Mid lane.
Oh my god, Boosh. That was unnecessarily risky. There was no, like, what did he gain? 7, 8 seconds? Almost just lost himself another objective, really. But you look at the board, 100 experience separate the two team. 1,500 gold, exactly the Gold Fury is going to separate the two teams at this point. And you have 13 minutes into the game, they can do things with 1,500.
Left sideline, Snoopy could be in some trouble. There's special delivery, but then he's going to be in range for the taunt. Here's the shield wall. What can he do to get out of this? Has to channel the ultimate. It is not available, however. He's just going to pop straight and zigzag.
He just dodged every auto attack, and that's against Zatman, a person known to not miss.
That's right, yeah. Nice play there. Mercury's just so fast, especially with the sprint on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
How do you hit those things? Pushing the mid lane could be pretty strong here for Dignitas. They're going to go ahead and decoy them back into the wave. Boost here, 1v3. Lassus is going to go in. There's the damage. May have the ultimate coming out as well. Is there a Spirit's Tempest available? There is, but it speeds the wave.
Looking for it.
Nicely. Oh! Devios bringing it in from downtown. Loki going down. Dignitas out a lot of troubles. They're getting collapsed on. There's the Creeping Curse coming out. Best has the Athena ult on top of him. He's forced a full trail retreat here. Devios has more damage coming through on demand when he needs it, but the Zatman rotation may be good enough. ShadowQ wants to re-engage. Here's Anatoly. Is it going to be enough?
Anatoly does come in. He gets a knockup into Devios, looking for everything, but a portal over the wall. We're going to see Shadow Q go down on the backside. Zapman will rotate in, but check out Snoopy jiving in, not finding anything, and Gars misses the ult just barely. Zapman should be able to escape as we see Best get back to the base.
Man, these fights for Cognitive Red have just been so crazy. I mean, they're living and dying right now by Divios' damage, and I'm just not sure how much longer it can hold up.
I think they're going to get to tier 2 here, Bart. That's going to be 1,500 gold. On top of the fact that they just took 800, Cog Red has the lead.
Yeah, they've just pulled the lead back away from Dignitas, as you mentioned. Maybe more importantly, that's the biggest experience advantage we've seen the entire game. It's 3,000 now in favor of Cog Red.
This is where Dignitas needs to start farming the jungle. Go pick off everything that they can. They know the enemy team is going to back. They know they have lane pressure right now. They need to take something off of this. But look at this. Gars, full health, full mana, hanging out in mid with Devios. Right side, though, Lassus, brilliant, goes right for the speed buff.
Yeah, you don't have to Lassus to go try to steal an enemy speed buff. But Anatoly takes a lot of damage from Devios for his trouble. Lassus trying to finish off those last couple of minions. Ionic, Devios, and Gars all in hot retreat.
This is going to be big. Anatoly gaining some health back. Can Gars find it? Teleport. Good shot. Overhand smash. Tornado's going to try to keep them out as through time and space does miss. Anatoly should escape here. Oh, that was close. Devios really making a name for himself on the Janus today.
Yeah, the solo lane. Janus, I mean, does soak a lot of farm in that solo lane. He's doing very well with it. However, in the meantime, Zapman on the left side lane pushing up the wave, trying to make his way back. Mercury very good at moving around the map very fast, but Zapman may be able to just keep him out and box him out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 shots onto Snoopy, and there's a third of your health gone, and Zapman should be able to box this quite effectively now.
Zap did use a few astral arrows there, not to mention he used that extra speed boost. I'm really surprised to see Snoopy not back off and then immediately try to rush in once those cooldowns have been used.
Yeah, he's just not that interested in really trying to go toe-to-toe with the Hunters in this assassin duo lane role. I mean, he's just perfectly happy to get his farm and try to take it to the late game.
I mean, and why not? He's already a level ahead. You look at the board right now, he's level 15, 7,800 gold. You look at Zapman, 8,000 gold, just procced into it. He's about 140 gold ahead, but a level behind.
Rom sitting on 180 physical power right now. Mercury sitting on 115, which is even behind the Loki. Oh, well, I'm sorry, dead even at 115 with the Loki. But Rom, 70 physical power ahead of both of them is definitely difficult to deal with right now. I mean, he's doing 70 more damage a shot. I mean, that's all there really is to it.
You know what I'm really surprised to see is this Divine Ruin rush coming out from Best to try to stop the healing from Boosh. I mean, are you really that afraid of raw heal at 16 minutes into the game?
No, I mean, he had this before Boots.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but even so, like, how could you be afraid?
I guess it's just fully for lane presence.
Well, let's look at the board. I mean, he has put out 5,400 healing at this point. That's a very high number for 1,700.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, but I mean,
minutes.
the Divine Ruin will only prevent him from healing himself.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It only affects the people that it actually applies to, which means really the tornado itself would stop people from going in the heal. It feels like he's kind of double applying. It's strange to me.
So let's take a moment here to take a look at our Guardian players between Ionic and Shadow Q. Taking a look here at their stats. Fight breaking out a little bit, though. Not too much going on, but I mean, you can just see the win rate on Shadow Q. They're 82%.
Shadow Q just has them across the board.
Superior KDA, superior GPM. Shadow Q really the premier support player here in the North American scene.
I mean, he has them across the board. And we just look at last game. He took the Gold Fury. He has him in Gold Fury steals. He has him Fire Giant presence. It feels like Shadow Q, up until this week, had him just point to point. But after the way we saw Ionic play previously in the set against Cognitive Prime, I don't know that it can't be made where the argument that is Ionic can still hold his ground.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Ionic a very strong player as well. He's doing quite well for himself and his team. Damage starting to be channeled into the tower here by Zapman. Auto attacks coming through. Snoopy doing his best to clear the wave, but not before half of the tower does go down, and Zapman's going to hold his ground for now as Dignitas is here in force with his back, and both teams know one pick means Gold Fury, potentially really breaking this game wide open. There's only 200 gold separates the teams.
I mean, they have to be very careful. They don't have the numbers, and look at Lassus' positioning. Just walks right up to Gars and says, here, you need half your health. I'll just hold that for you.
Yeah, I can hang on to that half of your health. Right side lane, Divios is pushed up pretty well. He's going to go ahead and put some damage out onto Tolly. Really interested to see that here that Tolly has not gone for the Ankiel.
Oh, we're getting a push in. Gars actually going right to the Best, who forces the beats and the Aegis out. Gars going for huge damage there. Snoopy as well. Huge shot, and then here comes Janus.
What he's going to do is put out damage onto Lassus. Lassus goes down to the burst between the Raw and the Yana. Shadow Q now the one in a lot of trouble, channeling the ultimate on top of that portal, but he's going to go down as well to the burst. The Yana's burst is just so real, but here comes Anatoly. Does he have it? Well,
it's 1v5. It's 1v5. They got him down. They're not even looking at the Gold Fury. Right to Fire Giant they go as Cognitive Red chew the same bite that they took out of Cognitive Prime in the previous set.
It's a little tough, though. They have to, they really need Snoopy to do a lot of damage here and then back out. They can't let him get too low. I guess with the DSI, there's really no chance, but he's going to be fine. Looks like they're going to take down the Fire Giant before he gets out the second lava. The first one coming out now, and that's going to go ahead and knock it down. Snoopy not going to fall to the lava there, and that is an easy Fire Giant for Cognitive Red on the back of a very impressive team fight. And let's just check in with the 13,000 player damage has come out from Divya so far, but not to be held back. Gar sitting on 12,300 of his own.
I mean, that right there, he put out so much. That team fight was massive. I think if you asked me 2 weeks ago if this team could have beaten COG or even taken a game on either COG or Dignitas, I might have just scoffed at you. But the transformation this team has made in a very short 2 or 3 weeks since the end of qualifiers has been astronomical.
Yeah, it's a dangerous, dangerous time now for Dignitas. You have 4 kills, 1 death on Snoopy, who has a Deathbringer done on top of his Golden Bow. So crit item on top of his Deathbringer that... And Last is forced to use his ultimate to get away. That means that 90 seconds of relative freedom here for Cognitive Red as they push down the middle lane.
Now, correct me, did we see an Aphrodite ban?
No, Aphrodite neither pick nor ban in this game.
See, I would have loved to see Anatoly go Afro, because whenever I see Afro and Lassus's Loki together, I mean, it's just non-stop action. And you see Lassus right now has Hand of the Gods. I would have loved to see Bees or Aegis here. I know he wants the girdle, but he doesn't have the support to go for it, as Cognitive Red takes another 1,500 gold, increases their lead to 4,000.
Shadow Q going to try to taunt Divius back into this tower, but he's going to be pushed away by Gars. And, you know, Gar's slash right now is 3-1-9, which makes no sense considering how many times I've been like, oh, well, he's dead.
I mean, how many fights have we seen him get down to 5% health and somehow get out of it?
I think 3 or 4
and then he goes back in anyway.
Yeah.
What a maniac.
Divios, really the player of the game here for Cognitive Red.
I
in
love
both
this,
games
though.
here.
I love this split push. Zatman and Vest forcing out the trade here. Anatoly on top side going for the tier 2.
Race.
I mean, this right now, they have to get the Phoenix and back immediately. Now, we're seeing I mean, they're going back here. Snoopy has gone to the wrong lane. I don't like the fact that he went for Anatoly. This is going to be a free Phoenix for Zatman.
Yeah, Phoenix is going to go down in mid. Putting up only a cursory support over here on the left side is Shadow Q. They're going to let that Phoenix fall, but they're going to trade Phoenixes, and this is how we saw Dignitas win the last game.
Well, right, but look at this. This time they're getting a second Phoenix. There's only one person here. Anatoly's dead. Lassus doesn't have his ultimate.
Shadow Q stalling him out, though. Middle Phoenix is going to go down. Port's coming back in now. So, what can Dignitas do to come back against this? I mean, they really need to find something very, very quickly. Lassus has a decent angle here to try to stop somebody. Not going to get the body block he was looking for. Fire Giant not up for a while. It's going to be tough for Dignitas to find a really momentous opportunity to turn this game back in their favor.
See, what's great, though, for Red here is that they trade the middle Phoenixes, which means they don't have to worry too much about the Fire minions, and then left side still pressures them away from the Fire Giant side, which is absolutely massive. Now, they take another tier 1 for 500 gold. They're pushing down this lane. They didn't get the tier 2 on right side because Anatoly got shut down immediately by that Mercury. I mean, at this point, Snoopy has enough damage to absolutely fight maybe even 2 people. Yeah,
over 2,000 gold on all members of Cognitive Red. The items are going to start coming out in force. You have the Shifter Shield for Gars, Hide of the Urchin finish on Ionic. You have Book of Toth into a little bit of Pen coming out for Boosh. Titan's Bane as well picked up on Gars. The Rage Blade bought outright by Snoopy, and a Rod Tahuti completed onto Divios, as well as a sprint and some wards.
So we talked about it earlier. One of the most interesting stats of the tournament is that Snoopy has never won a qualifying game below 467 gold a minute. To the same point, he has never lost a game above 467 gold a minute. That's kind of like, do we win? Is Snoopy fed? And in this case, he's at 479 right now, and he's looking very strong.
Yeah, it's definitely enough, but of course, that's the gold per minute that he ends the game with. So we'll see, if he's able to maintain that gold per minute as this continues to aggress, as they continue to aggress into Dignitas, and will they stall out trying to break this final Phoenix? Dignitas, can they find a big team fight to keep them in game number 2? Looks like this game is going to be a bit shorter than game number 1.
I mean, I always talk about the win condition. It's all about Lassus. He is the make and break. Can you find him early game? Can you shut him down? If you don't, he carries. I mean, last game, look what that Mercury did. Zatman did a ton of damage, but Lassus sets up the fights.
Sure, but Loki nowhere near the kill potential.
No, in this case, he has nothing. I mean, he's 11,000 gold, top farm on his team, and still almost 1,000 gold behind anyone on the other team, and he's 2-6-4. That Heartseeker has been just cut to ribbons.
Man, those apples. really great dancer.
Right.
Yeah, so Cognitive Red, hereby dubbed Prince Cog. They're not King Kong, they're Prince Cog.
Zatman. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it. That was a really good play by
No, he
Zap.
wanted to. Didn't hit the first slow, though.
Right, he missed the cripple is what he was really looking for. Oh, forcing out the Athena ult really early. That's a big win. Whoa!
Wow, the timing on that. What a play, what a player.
We're going to still go forward. See the Dragon coming through, going to hit too, but not enough damage just yet. Lassus finally getting in there, actually misses the auto attack, beats to get out of the fling. I don't know what he's going to have an opportunity to do except for run. He has to do it. Best is down, and they're looking at Shadow Q.
Yeah, only Lassus and Athena alive. Neither of them. Well, Athena, has a decent opportunity of stalling it out and with the decoy, but there is no split push here. And the thing is, decoy will hold one minion wave out for 3 seconds.
You just mentioned it last game. It was way above the mark for their average game time. Dignitas likes the long game. 24 minutes deep, just about 25. They're looking to go to the Titan. Snoopy finds a good fling. Lassus down, Shadow Q down. We have ourselves a match.
Cognitive Red has drawn parity here. 1 game apiece between these 2 teams. We'll be moving into Game 3 to see who can take an advantage in this best-of-5 series, guys.
Why does this work?
Why does what work, Brandon?
The Mercury in the duo lane. Like, why does this work?
It's it's the range damage on Mage and Look. He's able to kind of stay back, farm it up. He gets the contribution from items. He uses the Golden Bow to farm the wave effectively from range, and a lot of it has to do with Snoopy's play style, right? His ability to get that early Golden Bow, play super passive, get his boots, get his crit, and just passively farm the lane.
I think Zap had a really good game here. He was 2-4, but he still put up 14k damage, keeping himself in line. But I go back to Ionic, constant, great Geb shields. The Cataclysms were perfect, but that last play was all Snoop.
Yeah, I go back, it definitely goes back to that Mercury ultimate. Perfectly timed.
It was frame perfect.
It was frame perfect. Gets the Athena crashing down. But to break down that replay, let's toss it over to Dry Bear over at the, interview expert station. And take it away, Dry Bear, with that replay breakdown.
Thanks, Bart. All right, everyone, let's check out how that match went. I think one of the biggest things to talk about, and DM mentioned a lot that game, was the fact that Lassus was that driving factor, and the separation was going to be Snoopy and Lassus, the 2 main factors for their teams. Let's check this replay a little bit. We're going to see Snoopy, let's run it back, just normal speed. Snoopy priming the ultimate, looking for the shot. He's got so many of these ultimates, and slow it down a little bit here as they kind of rotate around. Giannis got the ultimate coming through. Shadow Q can take a lot of damage. They're looking at Last jumping in, but he's going to miss the aim strike, miss again, go for the second shot, but Snoopy takes the portal through, taking very minimal damage, of course, avoid it, and Lassus dies in the process. So if you look at the rotation there, you see up in the air, you see Ron doing damage, but it's not going to be enough. The Boosh escapes to the backside, grab it up. Snoopy, slow it down a little bit. Watch that damage. Look at this damage hit. Let's bring it back about 4 seconds, right before they got it. Look how quickly Snoopy takes down Zapman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instantly. The attack speed is insane. The amount of damage he can do in such a short amount of time is all he really needed to end that fight. And we saw it time and time again. You see Anatoly here, but even though he's the giant baby, he's not going to be able to do any of this. Normal speed here is definitely a very, very strong showing from Snoopy overall. If we bring it all the way back from the beginning and just run it just from that ultimate there, Snoopy priming that ultimate up. He did this like 6 times. Just watch. Grabbing through, forcing Shadow Q to disengage. The portal comes from Giannis, and from then on, it was just cake. Amazing play across the board. And Lassus, they were trying to stop him from picking Loki all day long. He gets Loki once, and it wasn't enough. An amazing play across the board by Snoopy. Actually, overall, he's currently 11, 4, and 19 with Mercury Hunter overall throughout the day as the 4th seeded team. A fantastic match to watch indeed. We're going to go into Game 3 coming after this break. We're going to watch some more top plays from Week 53.